Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Twardowski with You Be Successful. In this video, I will show you how to add more functionality to your forms and views for our first Domino application. Again, we only have one assumption for this video. You have access to the Domino designer and your first Domino application. Let's get started. Welcome back to our problems and answer application. Let's make a few changes that will improve our users' effectiveness. We can collect and display data, and in this case, problems and answers. Let's examine the by title view. Rather than teaching our users to go to the top and selecting Create Problems and Answers, wouldn't it be nicer if there was a button on the page called Create P&A? Return to Domino Designer, select the by title view. To add actions to our view, we can either reveal the action bar from the screen's right side by grabbing the bar and dragging it left, or we can go to the top and select View Action Pane. The actions we see are system defined that can be used with any Domino application. We're going to make our own action button. Return to Help. While we've been scrolling through the formula language, we haven't touched on the formula commands yet. These commands match a lot of the actions in the Notes client toolbar. We are looking for Compose so we can create a new document. Notice the number of parameters on Compose that we can utilize: server, database, form. There are also two parameters called width and height. These are for backwards compatibility with Notes client version 2, 3, and 4. Let's scroll down to the examples. Let's examine the first example. This formula creates a new main document in the current database. That's what we're looking to do. Select the formula, copy. Return to the Notes Designer action page. Right-click on the action pane and select New Action. Notice a dialog box popped up for key details about the action. In the name field, type Create P&A. Select X to close and save the dialog box. Return to the action pane. Select Create P&A. Left-click on your mouse on the action and drag it to the top. When we get multiple actions, we can use this method to change the order of the action. If the system actions bother you, you can always right-click on them and select Delete. We can select more than one in the right-click, then make them all go away at once. If you'd like to get the system actions back, you can right-click the action pane and select Insert System Action. Select Create P&A. Paste our Compose action into the formula space. This looks good, but remember our form is not called Main Topic, but Problem and Answer. Select Forms. This provides us not only with the title of our form, but also that we use PA as our alias. Return to our by title view. Select our action, Create P&A. Change Main Topic to PA. Select the check mark to validate our formula. Everything's looking good. Save the form. Let's preview our by title view. Notice in the top left corner, we have a button called Create P&A. When we click on the button, our problems and answer form is displayed. As we look at the form, wouldn't it be nice to have a Save and Close button here? Return to the Domino Designer. Go to the problem and answer form. We want to get to the action pane for the form. Utilizing the same choices as before, we can drag and drop the bar on the right side, or we can go to the top and select View Action Pane. The action pane opens up, and we can see it's empty. Right click and select Create Action. Change the name to Save and Close. This is the formula that I use for my Save and Close button. If at File Save, then at File Close Window, else do nothing. This formula makes it easier when the form gets a little bit more complex and we are using formulas to check the field. For example, if we make the title field required on all the documents, we can display a dialog box telling the user the title is required before saving. If we don't want our Save In button to save the document before we are sure we have all the necessary information, we have the button Do Nothing. If you want to look up the three components of this formula, go to Help and look up @if, @command file save, @command file close window. Select the check mark to validate our formula, save our form. In the Domino Designer, close all the views and forms. Why am I closing all the windows? Sometimes when developing, you will make changes, but it doesn't show up in notes correctly. If you close up all the windows, it will free up whatever resources locked and allow it to update. You will find typically that 1, 2, 3 windows is not a big deal, but if you suddenly have an application that has 20 or 30, you could have problems. Let's preview the by category view. Oh no, our button is gone. It's not gone. We placed the create button in the by title view and not in the by category view. We will add the create button to all the other views later. For now, let's see how the save and close button works. Select create P&A, add a category. Oh no, sales showed up twice. This is not what we wanted, but we will fix it later. For now, let's test the save and close button. Select IT, select OK. Enter the title of this document. I'm just using another IT problem. Since I had the formulas saved to my clipboard, let's add those as our problem and answer. Feel free to add your own problem and answer entry. Select Save and Close. There's our document at the bottom. Let's open the document, select Save and Close. Notice we get a dialog box. Cannot execute the specific command. This error message is displayed because the document is not in edit mode. We'll want to prevent this error message from showing up in the future. Let's return to the Domino Designer and select the problem and answer form. Let's create two additional actions. First one called Cancel. Second one called Edit Document. Right-click in the action pane and select Create Action. Change the name to Cancel. Close the dialog box. The formula we will use is @command close window. Select the check mark to validate our formula. Right-click in the action pane and select Create Action. Let's call this action Edit Document. Close the dialog box. The formula we will use to edit a document is @command edit document. Go to Help and look up these commands to see all the details. Notice as we go through these, we can't find the edit document. That's because they're not in the formula section. We need to scroll down to the bottom of the command section. While we can use the edit document command as we did, notice additional parameters such as mode and preview pane. Mode can control whether the document is opened in edit or read mode. And the preview pane is best thought of as a dialog box to pop up the document that has to be dealt with and then closed. Validate the formula and save the form. Let's preview our form and notice that all three buttons are at the top of the page. I'm already in edit mode. Why would we want that button to say edit document? Let's open up an existing document. Now we are in read mode. The edit button makes sense, but our save and close button is being displayed. We need to hide the buttons that are not required during the different phases of the document. Return to our form and go to the action page. Right-click on the Save and Close and select Action Property. This brings up the Property dialog. Go to the second tab. There is a Hide When action. We can select to hide these buttons in Notes 4.6 or later. FYI, Hide When didn't exist before 4.6. We can hide the action on web browsers and in mobile apps. We are more concerned with the actions here in the middle, when reading or when editing. We want to hide the button when we are reading the document. We only want the button to show up when we are in edit mode. Right-click on the Edit Document action and select Action Properties. Go to the second tab. Select both Hide When Editing entries. For the action Cancel, we want this function regardless of whether we are in edit mode or read mode. Save our changes. Go to the Notes client and open up one of the documents. See our Cancel and Edit buttons. Select Edit Document. The document has changed in edit mode, so we can make changes if desired. Select Save and Close. Everything is looking good. Open the document again. Select Cancel to exit the document. From the user's perspective, everything they needed was right on the problem and answer form. Let's examine the views. Notice the by category view was lacking any button. Let's add the Create Problem and Answer button to all the views and add an Edit Document to all the views. Return to the Domino Designer, select by title view. Notice our one action in the action pane. We have several options. The obvious one being to copy the action from this view to all the other views. While copying the action from one view to another is straightforward, imagine how difficult it would be if we ever had to change one of the actions, potentially requiring us to go to multiple places to make the edit. On the left-hand side, open up Code and select Shared Action. By creating shared actions here, we can share them for both views and forms. If we ever identify a better way to perform an action, we can return here, edit the action once, and populate it through the application. We want to take our Create P&A button and turn it into a shared action. Copy the formula. Select Shared Action. Select New Shared Action. Change the name to Create P&A. Select OK. Paste our formula here on the right. Select the checkbox to verify our formula syntax is correct. Press Escape to save the dialog box. Select Yes. Select the twisty to display our newly created shared action. Go to the By Category view. Go to the Action pane. Select the actions, and hitting the Delete key will clear the system action. Right-click in the Action pane and select Insert Shared Action. Notice right now we only have one. Select the action and select Insert. This will add the action to the action pane on the right. Select Done to get out of the Insert Shared Action dialog box. Save the view and preview. Notice we have the button in both views. One action is shared, the other is local. Let's perform this step again. Let's add an Edit Document action to the view. Select the Problem and Answer form. And go to the action pane. We already have an Edit Document action. This is the formula we need for the button on our view. Return to our shared actions and select New Shared Action. Call this action Edit Document. Select OK. Paste in our formula. Save the action. Remember on the action for forms, we needed to customize the action to control where it was displayed on the screen. To perform this step, open the action by double-clicking. Right-click on the formula. Select the Programmer pane. Select Shared Action. Notice the property box looks just like the one from our action. Select the second tab. We can use this to control when we hide the shared action. Select the other Edit Document action. Let's hide this action when editing. Save the action. Return to the By Category view. Go to the Action pane. Right-click to select Insert Shared Action. Select Edit Document and click Insert. Select Done. Select By Title view. Go to the Action pane. Right-click. Then select Insert Shared Action. Select Edit Document and click Insert. Save both the views by selecting the X, then selecting Yes to save. Return to the Notes client to see our changes. Notice our changes in the views. I know there's a lot of jumping back and forth, but there is a benefit. Return to our shared actions and select Edit Document. Another method to get to the shared action properties is to select Design on the menu and choose Shared Action Property. Let's change this action from Edit Document to Edit P&A. Save the shared action. Return to the Notes client. Click on the By Title and the By Category view. This will cause them to refresh. Notice the name on the button in both views has changed. It no longer says Edit Document, but says Edit P&A. The more you write programs, the more you'll realize the benefit of this feature. When writing applications for others, the requirements to create a button called Edit Document. Once created, you use the button in several locations in your application. The application gets reviewed, and someone suggests we should change the name of the button. You can make your applications easier to maintain by creating shared actions, or be prepared to find all the actions that need to be renamed. Hope you don't miss one. What else can we do to improve the application? Notice the action on our form. When I right-click in the action pane, I could have added shared actions to the form. We would have had the same benefit as the shared actions on the views. Just a reminder, the benefits of having a shared action is future changes can be made in one place instead of on every object in every action. The most common shared actions on forms will be save and close, cancel, and edit document. A quick example of this may be that we need another version of this application. Instead of problems and answers, we wish to call it problems and solutions. We could change the shared actions from P&A to P&S and have the changes populate to all our views and forms. Let's make some additional changes to our application. Let's start with the create date. Notice when I previewed the form, nothing stops me from changing the create date. What is the chance that someone in your organization would create a document today, change the date to 2 weeks ago, then complain that their request is still incomplete? Select Create Date. To the right, type is set to editable. Let's change the attribute to Computed when composed. Save the form and preview. Notice the field is no longer editable by the creator. Remember the shrinking table column? It happened to me again. so I will just have to resize my table to get the correct width. While we're here, notice the author field is editable by the user. If we want the user to change the author field, we do nothing. But in our case, we want the author field to be the person who created the document. Return to the Domino Designer, open a problem and answer form. Let's make the same change to the author field as we did to the create date. Change the attribute from editable to computed when composed. We're making these changes now. There was nothing to stop us from making these changes when the fields were first created. Save the form and preview. Perfect. As we create our application, having a consistent interface will make it easier for our users to know how to interact with different portions of the application. Let's make the form labels gray, make areas that are computed by the system pink, and make the areas where the users will enter their data blue. Given time, our users will recognize where to enter data and where not to. I would like to hear from those of you who have worked on application front ends. If there's a better strategy to benefit our user community who is colorblind, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. Select the cells we want to change the color. Right-click, select Table Properties. Select the third tab, Table Cell Background. Go to Cell Color and select the twisty. Select a light pink color so that the text will show through prominently. Select the X to see our changes on the form. Select some of our labels. Right-click, select Table Properties. Select the third tab, Table Cell Background. Go to the cell color. Select the twisty. Select a light gray so the text will show through. Let's do this again. See a slightly darker gray next to the light gray. I like the darker gray better. Change your first selection to the darker gray. Continue setting the gray labels to the bottom portion of the form. For the fields that the user will add data, change those to blue. In hindsight, maybe I should use a paler blue. Save the form and preview. Notice when I click on the Save and Close button, it saved the document with no content. Let's see what this impact is. Let's go to our By Title view. Notice we have a document with no title. Right now, we don't know if there's a problem or an answer in the document. Imagine having to open it up every time to see the record details. Let's make the title required before allowing the document to be saved. Return to our form. Select the title field. Notice in our objects we have items such as default value, input translation, and input validation, just to name a few. Default value we've already seen used in author, create date, status, and priority field. Input translation takes the data the user puts in the field and manipulates it into a format we want to standardize. The best example of this that I can come up with is telephone numbers. Phone numbers can have dashes, parentheses, periods, or a combination of a number of symbols. The user doesn't want to be concerned about the format of the phone number. They can just type in the digits and the input translation will format the numbers for them. Input translation can be beneficial. Input validation is used to make sure that our data is correct. For example, if we had a field with quantity on a product order application, fractions of a product may be difficult to order. We could write a formula that would make our end users enter whole numbers when ordering. In our case, we want to require all problem and answer documents to have a title field. Select the title field, select Input Validation Object. Let's enter a formula here. Starting with @if left parentheses, title equals nothing or blank. We can accomplish this with double quote, add a semicolon to separate for the next part. We would like to provide the user with a message stating this is a problem and what to fix. At failure, left parentheses, double quote, please enter a title, double quote, right parentheses, semicolon. If the title has something entered, we want the formula to be successful. Add at success, right parentheses. Select the check mark to verify the syntax of our formula is correct. Note this is a common formula that we use in validating user input. Go up and select our Save and Close action to see our formula. Our formula is a little complex. If a user forgets to enter the title and presses the Save and Close button, they are prompted with a message providing them with an opportunity to correct the situation. Let's test our form with the new formula by saving and previewing. Select Save and Close. Notice we get a dialog box telling us to please enter a title. Select OK, enter a title. In my case, this is a test title. Before I select the Save and Close button, notice the category field has not been populated. Select Save and Close button, and like magic, our document gets saved again. Let's open the By Category view. We got the title to display, but the user didn't select a category. Let's make this a required field also. Return to our form. Select the title field and copy our input validation formula. Select our category field. Select the input validation object. Paste our title input validation formula into the formula box. We want to customize this for category. Change the title to category in both places. Save and preview our form. Select the Save and Close button. Notice the dialog box. Please enter a category. Select OK. Oh no, I forgot to clean up our category list. Let's finish testing our validation, then we'll clean up our category list. Select the category. Select OK. Select the Save and Close button again. There's our message that we require a title. Type in a title. Select the Save and Close button one more time. That time it worked. Let's clean up our category list. It could be tempting to delete the documents from the category view to clean up the list. Think of the view as a window into the database. If you delete the document in the view, it is deleted from the database and all the other views. So deleting is not our answer. We need to change our formula. Return to our problem and answer form and select the category field. Select the second tab. This location is where we put the formula to look up the category. This formula needs to change to eliminate duplication. Our formula is using @db column, which returns a text list. Let's return to our help and see what formulas might improve our process. Scroll till you find @unique. @unique accepts a text list, one of its parameters, and returns only those values that are unique. @unique removes the duplicate. In this first example, we see red, green, blue, green, and red. Notice that green and red both had duplicates. However, @unique will eliminate the duplicates and return simply red, green, and blue. Let's look at another potential helpful command. Scroll to @sort. We can now sort the list either ascending or descending with several other parameters to refine our sort. Return to the category field on our form. Go to the second tab with our formulas located. We could edit our formula directly in this little box, but sometimes it's easier to click the formula window and get the larger editing. Notice this window is resizable to give us greater functionality. First formula we want to add is @unique. This function will return a list of unique values. @sort will return the list in alphabetical order. Select done. Notice the modified formula has been updated in the choice window. Let's save and test our form again. Select our category list. The duplicates are eliminated from the list. The list is also in alphabetical order, making it easier for users to find the information they need. Just a reminder that if the category is missing, our user can type in a new category at the bottom. Next time someone uses the application, new category will display in the list. While our application is looking good so far, our user community may want to see these records by priorities or by status. Let's return to the Domino Designer and make these views. On the left, select Views. Usually we go to the top and select New View button. As I think about the existing views, the by category view has a lot of the information we require. Duplicating this view will speed up your work. Select a by category view, perform a Control C to copy and a Control V to paste. This key sequence will create a new view called Copy of by Category. Open it up so we can make some changes. Go to the menu and select Design and change the name to By Status. Delete the alias since this view doesn't require a lookup again. Save the view. The view is in our list of views on the left-hand side. Notice in our view, we have a status column already defined. Drag the status to the left side of all our columns. Drag the category column after the title column. Select the status column to bring up the dialog box. Select the second tab. While we want the status sorted, let's try a special sort called categorize. Change the sort type to categorize. Return to the first tab. Select show a twisty when the row is expandable. Select Do Not Display Title in column header. Change the column width from 10 to 1. Close the dialog box and save the view. Preview the view to show how it looks. I'm making a few changes so we can see the By Status view in action. Notice we use the twisties to expand and collapse the category. While the view is good, I think we can do better. Return to the Domino Designer. Edit the By Status view. Notice this tab has a small arrow pointing at the top of the column. This tab controls the formatting of the column titles at the top. This tab has a small arrow pointing at the bottom column. This tab controls the formatting of the data in the column. Change the font size to 12 and change the text color to this purple. Preview the By Status view. Notice how we can separate the document titles from the category. Let's say the By Status view is our most used view. Sometimes people would like this view sorted by authors so they can find their names easy. Return to the Domino Designer. Select the author column. Select the second tab. Click on column header to sort. We have a choice of ascending or descending. Select ascending. Let's do the same for category. Select the category column. Go to the second tab. Click on column header to sort. Select secondary sort column. Change status to author. Doing this allows the user to click on the category header to sort and then sort the authors column. Save and preview. Select the category. Notice the department sort, then the authors sort as a subcategory. Select author. Notice all the names sort in alphabetical order. Select author again, and the view returns to the original format. The only issue with column sorts is users will get stuck. In this case, we leave the By Status view and return, and it's already sorted by author. The expectation is that status should be sorted. The icon at the top is darkened, thus showing the user this column has been sorted. With a little training, users will learn to recognize that they sorted the view. Click on the column header again will return the view to the original format. Check out our next video on changes so that our application can be placed on a Domino server and a change request. Look for the link below or a card on the screen.